I'm beauty and fitness editor Zoe Weiner, and this is Zoe Tries It All. I've always wanted to be a morning person, especially because as a wellness journalist, I'm constantly hearing about the benefits of waking up early and getting a kickstart on your day. Plus, studies have shown that there's a link between waking up early and productivity, which I know that I personally could use a little bit more of in my life. Aside from productivity, I feel like getting up earlier can help to reduce stress and give me a little bit of time to clear my mind, which could really, really help right now. I feel like since the pandemic started, I have gotten in the not so great habit of rolling out of bed and starting my first Zoom meeting in my pajamas. And there's really no separation between waking up and starting work. I've lost a lot of the me time in the morning that I used to love when I had a regular routine, and I'm really, really hoping to get some of that back. This isn't the first time that I've tried to make my mornings a little bit more me time friendly. As you may remember from a past episode, I tried sticking with Mark Wahlberg's early morning routine, which involved getting out of bed at 4:30 and really packing in nearly a full day before I got to work, but it wasn't sustainable. So in order to come up with a routine that works for me, I'm working with sleep specialist Shelby Harris, who's helping me put together an entire daily routine to help me reduce stress, refocus my energy, and ultimately get out of bed more than a minute and a half before my first meeting.
I'd love to talk a little bit about the connection between sleep and stress.
Stress today, our brains think of it as stress back when we were in caves. Our brains are reacting to any stress the same way, and what it does is it keeps us awake because we are on hyper alert.
Why is it important to go to bed at a certain time, wake up at a certain time? How does all of that play into what we're talking about?
Consistency is what we thrive on, our bodies thrive on, and there's something in our bodies called a circadian rhythm. So it's this rhythm that's built into our bodies that is around 24 hours. What we thrive on is keeping that rhythm in check. But if you keep things routine, your body doesn't have to keep trying to play around and catch up with everything.
What are the top tips that you give to your patients to help them improve their daily habits to wake up earlier?
Gradual is going to be the name of the game. Circadian rhythms don't just automatically shift. It's almost like if you try to shift to an earlier bedtime or a later wake time or whatever it might be, it's like you're creating jet lag for your body, and your body does not want to react to that. You're going to have to give it a good month or so. Now, that being said, if you have any day where you sleep in, just try to get back on track, but don't go to bed late the next night. Once you get up, make sure you eat something, you hydrate. Sleep at night is extremely dehydrating. So if you have a nice glass of water with some lemon in it, ideally, it actually can wake you up a little bit more. And like I said, get as much light as possible. Open all those shades, everything. If you can, try to eat your meals around the same time. And then think about it. If you're going to start getting up earlier, try to move some of the meal times a little bit earlier. So you're setting your body's rhythm to slowly move earlier. You want to try and keep, if you can, an hour-long buffer before bed to try to stay away from screens. Do something that's calm, quiet, relaxing, to set your brain knowing that it's almost bedtime. And then the one other thing just to consider is trying to get rid of anything that might impact the quality of the sleep you get. So alcohol, the same thing with nicotine, heavy meals within 3 hours of bed can really make it harder for you to sleep.
What does that wind down time look like?
It's specific to what you enjoy because you want to actually look forward to your wind down routine and not resent it. I have some patients that are doing needlepoint, they're doing knitting, adult coloring books. One other thing I love to recommend is meditation, especially for people whose minds are just very active at bedtime. Whatever works for you to quiet down that puppy dog brain.
Well, all of that information was a huge wake-up call as to all of the things that I'm doing that are preventing me from becoming a morning person. I mean, no wonder that initial routine wasn't sustainable. So now that I have all of that information, I'm gonna take it and apply it to my routine for an entire month, which I guess means no wine and no TV before bed. Based on the recommendations from Dr. Harris, I'm gonna be checking off certain items on my own personal to-do list every day for the next month. Starting today, I'm gonna be tracking my sleep, my activity, and my meals based on Dr. Harris's tips in the hopes that it'll help me rewire my circadian rhythm and ultimately turn me into a morning person once and for all. A big part of all of that will be noticing how I manage stress throughout my day. Thankfully, I don't have to keep track of all of these things on my own because the watch that I'm wearing actually takes into account all the different factors that tell me how my body is reacting to stress. Every morning, my watch keeps track of cues from my body in order to help me wake up at the best possible time within 30 minutes of my set alarm. Because of that, I've been waking up a whole lot more gently instead of being jolted awake at the start of my day. And instead of trying to make a major change to my wake up time all at once, I've been moving it up 15 minutes earlier every day. And the shift has honestly been so subtle that I barely even notice it from one morning to the next. Then, after waking up, I open my shades immediately to let in some natural light. This gives me a sense of feeling like, okay, the day has started outside and it's time for me to get my butt out of bed. Since our circadian rhythm is super closely linked to light, getting a dose of sunshine first thing has definitely helped me wake up more easily. I'm lucky that my apartment has got some pretty big windows, and opening the shades has become an important step in my first thing in the AM routine. Then, it's time for a moment of mindfulness so my watch can start tracking my stress response through what's called an EDA scan. Over the course of the month, the watch will track my sleep, activity, and other health factors, but it all starts with this scan. It works by picking up electrical changes in my body, then lets me log my perceived stress levels in order to get a good look at where I am as I start each day. After a few days, I was able to see a daily stress management score, which helped me better understand how my body was reacting to stress on a day-to-day basis. After that, it's officially time to get up and out of bed. And at this point, Dr. Shelby recommends hydrating right away with some lemon water. Drinking lemon water has got some pretty legit benefits, like brightening your skin and helping with digestion and detoxification, but I really love it because honestly, it just makes me feel like a more put together person. I love that it gives me a sense that I'm starting my day by doing something good for my body. When it comes to exercise, Dr. Shelby suggests figuring out what best fits into your schedule. So for me, that's meant sticking with morning workouts to help get my mind and body ready for the day. The longer I've stuck with this routine, the less sluggish I felt in my movement, which has been awesome. As I've gone about my days, I've had to shift my meal times up to coordinate with my new wake up times. This has meant actually setting specific times for meals, and shifting from snacking all day to scheduling my meals out was definitely an adjustment. That said, it's helped me stay on track with my overall daily regimen, which has translated to making earlier bedtimes and wake up times a whole lot easier. At night, Dr. Shelby is a big believer in instituting a no-tech rule at least an hour before bedtime, which means turning off my phone and closing my laptop for the rest of the night an hour before my head hits the pillow. Honestly, it's been really hard to stick to this, mostly because I love TikTok and work in digital media. So I've started small by shutting down 10 minutes before bed, and I'm trying to work my way up to an hour from there. Instead of scrolling, I've been trying to do better for my brain things to fill the time before bed, like reading actual physical books, listening to podcasts, and writing in my journal. The final step in my daily routine is meditation. I've never ever been a meditator, so having quick, easily accessible guided meditations has really helped me commit to actually doing it regularly. And on the nights that I have meditated, I've been asleep practically the minute my head hit the pillow. And more than that, I've actually stayed asleep until my alarm went off the next morning. It's been 3 weeks, and I am very excited to report that I am finally a morning person. First of all, meditating before bed, it's a game changer. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't meditate every single night, but on the nights that I did actually make the time for a little mindful me time, I slept so much better, and that was reflected in my sleep score. It was so much higher on the nights that I did meditate than on the nights that I skipped out. The other thing that I think made the biggest difference in all of this was using the Smart Wake feature on my Fitbit. It really helped me wake up and not feel groggy the minute I got out of bed. I think mostly because it was keeping track of my sleep cycle and really waking me up in a soothing way at the peak optimum moments that I wouldn't feel like, jarred awake and all of that the way I usually do with an alarm. Changing the wake up time by only 15 minutes every day, I think also was really great because it didn't feel like such a huge change from day to day, but it really over time made a big, big difference in my ability to get up earlier. It was also definitely tough to ditch the wine in the evening and stop eating ice cream before bed and not be on my phone scrolling through TikTok while I tried to fall asleep. But I think that I found ways to replace these kind of unhealthy for sleep behaviors with things that would really help me calm down and sleep through the night, like my evening meditation. The biggest takeaway for me through all of this, though, was remembering just how important it is to have a routine. I feel like over the course of the past year from working from home, I have gotten into a routine, if you can even call it that, of rolling out of bed at the last possible minute, opening up my laptop, staying on my laptop until very late into the night, then watching TV with a glass of wine, falling asleep, and doing it again. And what this has all taught me is that having even these teeny tiny kind of signposts throughout the day, like eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a certain time, turning off my phone at a certain time, meditating at a certain time, has really helped me to add structure and honestly reclaim my me time. Because I think when I lost my usual routine of going to work and doing things, I also lost big pieces of my wellness routine. And this has definitely given me the tools I need to reclaim all of that. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Well+Good and check back soon for another episode of Zoe Tries It All.